So these formulas, as in the combination of the crystals that are used, make a difference. This is not something you can get anywhere.
2, 1, 0.
Hi, welcome to Stellar Life Podcast. This is your host, Orion. Today we're going to talk about Energy Muse. And I have the co-founders of Energy Muse, which is an incredible crystal company that I was actually buying some of their pieces throughout the years. And even I remember a few years ago, I ran a contest and they donated a little piece for my contest. It was really beautiful crystal. And when I got it, I kind of wanted to keep it to myself, but I was the donation for the contest. So some lucky lady got it. I actually heard an interview of them on somebody else's podcast and thought to myself, they are so interesting. I should definitely have them all on my show. And I was right. They are fascinating. Heather, Askinosie and Timmi Jandro started with a single piece, the Prosperity Necklace, over 20 years ago. Their approach to exclusive crystal healing formulas, including easy and powerful ways to implement healing crystals into our everyday lives, has allowed them to remain the crystal authority. We also spoke about their new breakthrough necklace, which I am wearing right now, and you can see it either on YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, or in the show notes on stellarlifepodcast.com. And some of the highlights from the show are how crystals contribute to overall health, the importance of grounding, the science and spirituality behind crystals, working with planetary alignment, cleansing and purifying your space through crystals and mantras, running a business more consciously, and more and more and more. And also, Heather and Timmi has a new book. It's called Crystal Muse. Crystal Muse explore how you can transform life's challenges into opportunities for growth by being equipped with the right crystal and the right mindset. I hope you will enjoy this show as much as I did. And now, without further ado, on to the show. Hi, Heather and Timmi, and thank you so much for being here. Welcome to Stellar Life Podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Hello, thank you for allowing us to be here. We're very grateful.
I think it's always fun when there are two people. I don't know, it's more even juicier than even talking to one person. So I feel very lucky today. Thank you both for being here.
Well, thank you.
Can you share your origin story and how did you start collaborating and what do you do today?
Well, I think you should tell the story about your crystals and why you got into it.
So I was selling real estate, high-end real estate, and I had a CFO of a Fortune 500 company come in and said, I'm going to buy a lot of real estate from you, but all the houses have to have good feng shui. And this was, 26 years ago, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And he said, go learn it. So I went to Monterey Park here in California, and I was in a room with many men, and I learned about feng shui, which is based on mathematical calculations on how you go into a space to bring it into balance and harmony. And through there, it opened up a whole world for me, and I ended up selling him a lot of real estate and being intrigued by stones and gemstones and all kinds of things. And at that time, and I think probably similar now, I'm a kind of a seeker of truth. I am always I think my soul has had many lifetimes in many different meat suits, you'd say. And so I'm on a path of discovery. And one of them were crystals. And I ended up going to Hawaii, and I learned with a lot of different shamanic healers and blah, 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 the list. But what I found with the world of crystals and energy for me was that it opened something inside my heart that helped me get out of my head. And as a logical person who has more of a skeptical scientific mind, I landed in a place that was not normal to me. So 20 some odd years later, I'm still learning and even learning deeper, juicier things. But at that time, I remember that I got pregnant, I got married, and I took my feng shui background, which and put it in a wearable piece of jewelry. So I took the invisible world to make it physical. And I came up with something called prosperity, which is based on feng shui principles, and asked people to wear it for 10 days, going back to the science, to have some data. And I gave them to 10 friends, and Timmi was one of my research friends.
My guinea pig.
You're a guinea pig, and then you could kind of...
Yeah, so while she was going through all of this, I would be her guinea pig when you would actually feng shui my home, and you would practice energy work on me. And, this was very foreign to me. I grew up Catholic, and I was like, what the heck is she into? But I was open to it because I have known Heather since first grade. So I thought, wow, if she's on to something.
Oh, wow. That's a while. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. There wasn't such a wow story because we used to get into a lot of trouble as children, but we've harnessed that energy into Energy Muse to helping people. But Heather gave me this, and I was actually in transition. I was in the garment industry, and I was selling all of the big box retailers, Walmart, JCPenney, Sears, very lucrative. It was a great experience for me until it wasn't, because I was so drained, beaten down in pretty much a man's world, and I just had lost myself. The money wasn't really, making me happy anymore. My marriage was suffering. I wanted to get home. I was traveling a lot and start a family. And so I had quit my job, and I'm like, I'm done. I don't know what I'm going to do, but in faith, I thought something will come my way. And so sure enough, it did. So the prosperity necklace came to me, and I wore it, and literally people would be like, oh, and I still wear it to this day. This is not just because I'm on this podcast. I love the prosperity necklace. People were touching it. What is that? Oh my gosh, I love this. So, prosperity is not just money. It's prosperity in all aspects of life. And I really felt that opportunities were coming my way. And the biggest opportunity was I wanted to share my experience. I knew nothing about crystals. I didn't understand feng shui really, but I knew when I put this on my body, I felt a difference. So it was just that simple. And I wore it with the intention of prosperity. And I thought, Heather, let's join forces. I knew how to get these things made. And we literally started out of the trunks of our car on the streets of Manhattan Beach, California, which is where we were both born and raised. And that's how our story began, 22 years ago, almost 23.
That's beautiful. How did you come up with the name?
I had come up with the name because for my feng shui business, I've always been intrigued by the muse. And there's, so many muses out there, the muse of music, the muse of art. And I was like, I want to be a muse of energy. I want to have something that being kind of the inspiration behind somebody's heart, behind somebody where they're the creator. Our jewelry is maybe the igniter, the tool to help them reestablish them. So Energy Muse has always been about being the muse to inspire people.
How do you connect with crystals? How do you deal with crystals? How do you take care of it? How do you connect with it? How do you know a crystal is genuine and high quality?
Well, I think probably Timmi and I have two different ways, so that's
I was going to say,
Yeah.
I don't think no two people really deal with the connection the same. Heather's, you will tell them what you do.
For me, I was so triple type A. I was so, on paper in my 20s, you would have thought I was the bomb. I mean, I had all the check marks. There was something deeper that I wanted. And so for me, crystals were something that were just pretty. I loved their colors. I liked that they were from other countries that I couldn't travel to. I liked that there was a story behind them. And it was something for me to hold on to because I needed to ground. And back then, I know these sound like common conversations now, but 23 years ago, at least where we grew up, that wasn't something everyone was talking about. Get centered, get grounded. I mean, there was a movement, obviously, here in California where we're from, but it was kind of a foreign language. So for me, it was about connection. It still is about connection. And sometimes I do pick up a crystal and it feels heavy and it doesn't feel right. And that's okay because at least in Energy Muse, it's not about the right or wrong or the rules or this or that. It's about how do you feel? Because I think personally, we're so mentally driven today, and it's so, the more we go on our journeys of meditation and breath and things like that and inward, we know it feels right for us. And we know what we like when we're at that place of interconnection. And I don't want it to sound too broad, but really, if we can teach or help or serve or be on this path, it's just like, trust yourself. Get back to that place where you know that feels good for you. And, if we could be a guide, but at the end of the day, you got to know what works for you. You got to know your formula. And what might work for me or Timmi or you or your best friend, if somebody else has a different experience, it might be completely different. So for example, with rose quartz, for one person, it might be, oh my God, I love this. I feel like I'm connecting to who I really am. For somebody else, it might be like, I want to attract love. For somebody else, it might be, I got to heal a broken heart. Do you see what I'm saying? They're all different circumstances. And maybe for me, that's why I like crystals, because they don't have rules and regulations like humans do. They don't need to be put into a box and have this, this is who I am. It's like, this is who I am right now, but like, let's evolve, grow, and who are you, and who do you want to expand into and go deeper within yourself.
Do crystals really work? Is there any science behind it? Or is it just a feeling?
So there's a lot of science about it. I mean, and once again, this is a very broad conversation of the spirituality and science as we move forward. I think we'll be merging these two words more than ever. And will science, spirituality, in my opinion, is light years in front of science. Mm-hmm. But obviously, science is extremely important in many, many things. But, there's a lot of components of...
Especially in the last couple of years, everything is about science, even if it's not science.
It is, mm-hmm. and the logical mind can get there very much. But as our science definitely grows and emerges in technology, we find that the silence in our minds, the silence in our heart, is what's helping us sleep at night. It's helping us calm down. Those simple things are what maybe are helping us more in some areas on a day-to-day basis, Mm-hmm. But if you look at the computer chip, it's made of silicon, quartz crystal. What's fueling our whole world, is quartz crystal. There's a lot of science, but I don't know if there's enough science on where anyone would say, every ancient civilization since the beginning of time have used crystals in some way. So usually things don't stay throughout time if there's not a component of them working or being viable. They usually kind of phase themselves out. Yet crystals keep reinventing themselves. I think they said with the iPhone coming out, or at one point it was going to be like blue sapphire on the front, like this matrix of gemstones. A lot of stones are used in lasers, and some of our most technological pieces now have the component of quartz crystal in them, which is a programmable device, right?
Yeah.
And I think some people don't really even know how to work with a crystal, like a crystal. Yes. What am I supposed to do with this? So someone like me would go, oh, jewelry. This is crystal. This is energy on the go. Easy. I put it on, I wear it, and I feel a shift in my energy because I'm wearing it with an intention. And so I think with Energy Muse, what really has set us apart from day one is, I always say, Heather is like a human crystal over here. With the downloads that comes through and the energy that she feels from them, she honestly really does. I don't have that. I have it to an extent, but not like her. She knows how to put formulas together. Like, this is our new breakthrough piece. So these formulas, as in the combination of the crystals that are used, make a difference. This is not something you can get anywhere. Can you get this anywhere? Yeah, you could find pyrite in most places. But the breakthrough necklace, with the energy that it has about it, you can't get this anywhere. So formulas are super important. I know Heather uses numerology. The combination of the energies is super important. And it's all about ritual and consistency. So when you work with something on a consistent basis, you're going to get a result if you put your energy into that space, whether it's scientific or not, because that's where your energy's flowing. That's where your intention is.
It's all reprogramming your brain. It's all mind training. If I have to hold on to this and my brain's going in some negative thought, and I have to stop myself and go, okay, let's shift consciousness. Let's shift into where I want to be going. It's all the same. you know. And so sometimes for us, what we found, which is why we're here 23 years later, because usually we're here because people get results, because not because we're it's because people become, oh, I can do this. I can wear something. I could touch. I have something I could hold on to that is symbolic of where I want to go. And sometimes when you're alone in the day and your mind plays tricks on you, you have to stop and say, reset, let's go, mind change, shift. You need that time. We are being bombarded with so much stuff right now. It's mentally strong, heart-centered, grounded. Sounds, oh, those are just simple things. But those are the three most magical alchemy that we can do right now, really, to shift quickly.
Yeah.
And it's powerful.
And they're tools. I mean, we feel like we are providing tools for people to do this on their own. This is a talisman for some. This could be too. Pyrite stone could be a talisman to hold on to, something to hold on to that's real, that you can connect with to shift that mindset.
And this is what's cool about crystals, what I think is like, people are like, I don't even know, where do I start? Okay, well, I want money. Well, this looks like money. Look at how Mother Earth just shows up. This is like, hey, you want to know what money looks like? Sometimes people are like, what does that even look like? Well, this is what gold looks like. Start dreaming. What is it? You know what I'm saying? So sometimes the crystals just tell you what it doesn't have to. This is Mother Earth.
Doesn't
It's
have
simple.
to be so hard.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
We make it so confusing. And when we bring it down to just the basics, that's where we get into our synergy. That's where we get into our power. And that's where we're not overwhelmed. We're just like, okay, I got this. Okay. And that's where you begin any journey, right? Is when you're like, take a breath and be like, okay, I have the courage to start. I can do this. I can do this. A little help.
It's your secret buddy.
Yeah.
Yes, it's also like an anchor from NLP. When I haven't been
Totally.
speaking in a long time, but when I used to go on stages, I had this Wonder Woman ring that I wear, and I just touch it.
You look like Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
Doesn't she look like a
does.
Wonder Woman?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay, I could see that. I'd have you be my Wonder Woman. Yes.
Thank you.
Dang.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's very sweet of you. Thank you. So I'm like, I really, even in my teachings, it's about creating almost like an alter ego for yourself and stepping into her, stepping into that person you want to be, and you want some physical anchors. So a Wonder Woman ring can work for me, but hey, why not wear this type of jewelry that is actually of the earth, that has the essence, that has the energy, that is helping you connect between the physical realm and the energetic realm, and have that as an anchor. It just sounds very, very good. It sounds amazing. I really like it. I also know that you guys used to, you still work with Tony Robbins, because he wears your necklaces a lot.
Yeah, so we've had the opportunity to work with the Tony Robbins Foundation for almost 2 decades, and we've come up with a specific line of jewelry that is sold at all of their live events and online. And so he has worn our jewelry, and it's surreal when Heather and I have gone to some of his events and the foundation is selling the jewelry, and you look around and everyone's wearing it, and you're like,
I know.
they're anchored in good energy.
I used to love my piece. It was kind of like blue, and I just can't find it. I had 2 of them, and we moved, and I just don't know where they are. They were like one of my favorite. I haven't seen it on the website though.
Yeah, it's on their foundation's website.
Oh, okay. Now I know where to go.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to sell it directly because it was custom design
Exclusive.
pieces for the Tony Robbins Foundation.
That's amazing.
And we honor our word. We're those people.
That's beautiful. So you said you have downloads. What does it look like? Do you get into a meditative space? How do you do that numerology thing? How do you create that magic in your pieces of jewelry?
I think for me, my nature is more out of body. Mm-hmm. And I know that might sound odd. So for me, I have to, I went to an Ayurvedic doctor probably, and this is one of the reasons why I probably even started this path. But he said to me, if you don't start meditating, I don't know what's going to happen to you. You're going to probably crash and burn. And so I went and learned transcendental meditation about, 26 years ago. And I have to say, if I had not been a meditator and got on a spiritual journey, and that's taken me many, many roads, I don't even know what would have happened to me. I'm actually, my days every morning, that's how I breathe, that's how I navigate, is I have a very strong spiritual practice. I have a meditation. I have I have rituals of what I do, and I don't miss a day because it's what keeps me in alignment. And it's just for me, that's my formula. I've noticed that when I don't do my formula, my days are off kilter, and I don't feel like I'm showing up the best for myself or my family or my company or just what I'm supposed to be doing. So I believe because of, so I listen to mantras in my car. This is just my gig of how I navigate. But so for me, when I do go into that space and I am intentional and I connect and I'm really in that place, I can hear and connect with the stones in a deeper way. So it's coming through me, not my ego showing up designing. It's really,
like they come through you.
Yeah, it comes through me. It comes through me. And literally when Breakthrough was designed this year, I said to Timmi, I go, this is the most powerful piece I think we've had in Energy Muse since the Prosperity was designed.
Wow.
And what was confirmed is that we're very blessed to have the same stringer who's a Buddhist family stringing our same stringer for 26 years, stringing our pieces.
Oh, that's amazing. You have a Buddhist stringer?
Yeah, they're amazing. It's the little nuances that we don't normally tell everyone, but because we don't want it to be about that. But
It's a group.
the thing that was, I thought, really powerful is that she called Timmi up when she started stringing these, and she said, "Look, I just wanted to let you know there's something different about this piece. I haven't felt something of this resonance. What is this piece?" And we said it's Breakthrough, and it's about that point in your life where you're just like, I can't do it this way anymore. I need help to break through my mental limitations, my stories I tell. We've all been there, okay? And this is actually designed when I myself was in that place. And so I sat alone and I just let my hands move, and it's almost like it created itself. I actually can take no credit for this piece. Although I would love to, I was just the human bystander of what has happened. And what's cool about this piece is that it's kind of like with Prosperity. The people that have worn it have had magical things. Now, is it the jewelry? Love to say that it is, but I think it's the people showing up at that moment to commit to themselves that saw, you know what, I can break through.
So it's a tool of co-creation.
It's a tool of
Yes,
co-creation.
absolutely.
Is really what it is. And thank you for saying that. And that's why when people are like, oh, how does this work and this and that, it's like,
work it.
It's not the jewelry that works. Do you work? You know what I mean? Being on a spiritual journey is not rainbows and unicorns. It's not like all day are, you're running through, rosebuds and petals and whatever. You're learning about yourself, the good, the beautiful, and then the shadow, right? But that's how we evolve. And really at Energy Muse, we're not the crystal company for everyone. I get it. We like to have pretty things, but our pieces are designed to help you go deeper. And that's really, I think, there's so many amazing crystal companies on the market. I couldn't even name them all.
But for me specifically, it's really very important, like the energy, even that piece that you shared with me about the person that is creating it, that's for me is very important, because the energy of the person that is touching the piece is very important in activating the, I guess, life force that is inside the crystals. Because if somebody with negative emotions is touching the piece, yes, you can cleanse it, but it wasn't created from a pure place. So knowing the source of it, for me, I love beautiful jewelries, and it's really important for me to, like, the jewelry needs to call me, and I need to, I kind of like sense it. It really brings peace of mind to my heart to know that it was created in such a beautiful way. That is, and I just love the story behind a piece of jewelry. It's not just like, there is so much that, like, we live in a world that is so external. Everything is so external. You go on Instagram, there is, people are living from the outside, and sometimes they don't go in, or they don't connect to their inner wisdom, and they don't show that part on Instagram. So we are It's very plastic like, but I like when it's deeper. I like when it's genuine. I like when it's with integrity, and it's very important where it's coming from to me personally.
Yeah, and we have mantras going on all the time. So even when the jewelry comes in and it's bagged and everything comes with a scrolled story, we try to really inform everyone. Like you've received one of the Tony Robbins pieces, comes with a scrolled story. You know all about the crystals, how to wear it, and how to cleanse it. Because we're giving you the tools. It's now up to you to use it as a tool for yourself with consistency.
And what we always do with ours is the original piece is like the mother. I know there's so much like, but we have like, it was almost like that's when this piece was birthed. And so all the pieces that are designed after that birthing piece, that one is always like in in our space because that's the original. And then they all are seeded off the original frequency.
Oh, wow.
I will say this because we've been doing this for so long, is that the potency of an Energy Muse, although people have tried to knock us off, they don't feel the same. They don't, because it's not seeded from the same source of alignment.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just remembered, I just got a set of bracelets from you recently, actually, and they're in the other room. I wish I had them with me. And I don't know, it always feels really good to wear them. It's like 3 bracelets together, and they're kind of like bluish and dark. I don't know the name of it. But it just, maybe, I can't really see it. But they just feel really good. It just feels like I can't explain it.
Well, that's the biggest compliment.
Thank you.
Because we want people to feel. It's like when somebody comes over to your house and they're like, God, I just feel really comfortable here. Like for me, that's the best compliment somebody could ever give me about my house. That you feel like you came in and it's like a warm hug. Like you want to like get crisscross applesauce on the couch and you don't feel, and you want to grab a pillow and just like, let's talk, that kind of thing where you just feel that you feel. And sometimes we get into these robotic states where we're like, wait, no, well, we're here to feel, we're here to connect, there's so much we're here to do, but when we get zoned out, we're not in our power.
Yeah.
When we're ahead.
What was it like to create the business together? Did you ever had any arguments or fights, or did you have any struggles along the way? Like this business is it's been operating for a long time now, and it's a great success. So I mean, how did you navigate your personal relationship and also the whole the business aspect of it?
Well, I would say there's probably 3 major times when Heather and I are like, ooh, this might be the end of the friendship, because you're so intertwined with your personal and business life. And when things, they don't always go well, it might be financial, it might be struggles with production. It doesn't matter what it is. Usually it is a financial situation. It can be stressful because it affects both of us. But the one thing that you have to remember is we started this business with no business plan. We literally were like, let's do this. And we did it out of the trunks of our car. And it was almost like we were doing energy deals. We're like, oh my God, look at all this cash. And people are wanting our jewelry. And then there was a day where we're like, wait, we've got to be in business. Like, we've got to rent space. We need more cash. Like, how are we going to do this? So probably from an entrepreneurial point of view, I can say we didn't go and get our master's, but we got our master's in business from the ups and downs of a business degree just by owning one. I think you've even said too, it's the hard knocks. I mean, we've definitely had some hard knocks that have taken us down a road that was pretty ugly. But, these guys, if you just listen, there is some guidance, like we've been talking about the whole time. They do guide you when you are on the right path. I think spirit guides you. And when you listen, you will have doors open, because we find that all the time when you're in complete alignment with your passion, your purpose, your values, and your mission. When you get off track, that's when the problems start.
Right.
And I definitely think Timmi and I have got off track at points. I think as you get older and wiser, before we might have pointed the finger at one another, and then this most recent time, which I think was probably the worst time in our relationship, is more about like, oh, what did I do to contribute to where I am right now? Like, it was a different ownership.
How do you clean up your side of the
Yeah,
road?
like, oh, if I'm not blaming you or this and that, and I show up and realize what I did to create this scenario, an opportunity to learn from, yay. But what happened is on the other side of it, if you can get to that heartfelt truth that's so not fun, I think it has actually deepened our relationships to a better. Now, the messy part was not good. But I think we were both mature enough and been on this journey long enough that we couldn't point the finger. We're either going to do it together and figure it out, or we wouldn't, but we'd have to do it anyway with somebody else, because the lesson's the lesson. You can't run from that lesson. Mm-mm. So are we going to figure out the lesson and get it done? Or are you going to do your thing and I do, and then you'll do it with somebody else? But the lesson's still showing up. And so that ownership part of learning sometimes sucks, but it's almost like when you're more conscious, you see what's happening. Oh, I'm trying to put my ego in this situation and push a door open that's not going to open anymore. The world has changed. Business has changed.
Our industry has changed.
Yeah. Have you changed? No, you just haven't changed. So you're going to stay stuck until we're in Uranus, the planetary alignment right now is like, you either shift and churn and grow, or you're going to fall.
I totally feel that.
The frequency of planet Earth right now, it's kind of like one of those things, you want to shift things, either you get rid of your clothes or you go buy new ones. Does that make sense? You got to change up the dynamic. And if you do it, you'll see results real quick, because the planetary alignment will work with you. But if you buck heads with it, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard.
But I think what's been nice too is a lot of our friends that are maybe sole business owners, there's a lot that needs to be decided as a business owner. And I think the one good thing that we have between us is we have this trust issue that we are going to bounce these things off of one another, because it affects one another so much that not everyone has that. And so people have often said you two are very lucky that you have one another to have this business, this relationship together, and can go there in deep levels, business and personal.
Yeah. What do you do for fun?
That's a good one. Well, we like to travel. And, we both started our business when we were pregnant, her with her first son and me with my second. So they're best friends. So we often are together a lot, traveling or doing things that we like to do together, go to the beach, or we need to do it more.
Yeah.
It's been a really tough 6 months, I'm not going to lie. So we just said we've got to incorporate more fun, because when the fun stops, things contract.
Yeah.
But also, one of my most fun things to do, and this might not be normal to most people, I feel like my life is I'm lucky where it's like I'm divinely guided. So my husband sometimes are like, what did you do today? If there's like this random day that I don't have 20 things planned, and I'm just like, I let the day guide me, where I will start somewhere and I meet somebody and I go somewhere else, and it's just like, life is so magical, and there's so many cool and interesting people that have interesting stories. And it's beautiful. And there's so many amazing things to do and people to meet, amazing teas to drink and sunsets to be seen. And I think some of the best days and the most days for me that are fun are just the simple ones where they just flow organically and there's not so much a plan.
Unstructured.
Yeah, that's like a really fun day.
Yeah. I had a really fun day yesterday. I have a 3-year-old and I homeschool him. Sometimes I forget to just have fun with him. And yesterday we went to the Discovery Museum, and it was like a date day. And we just had a blast, and we watched a documentary together about the Serengeti in Africa, and we played, and he was so happy. He woke up this morning so like joyful. And it's the little things. It's just spending time with your loved ones. It's reminding yourself that we're always going to have stress, and we're always going to have up and down, and life is going to come at us whether we like it or not. But it's just like the silence in between the notes. We got to take that moment to just breathe it in and love it and enjoy it. and embrace every little moment with ourselves and love ourselves and with the people we love. And you guys, it's truly like, even before you said that, people are like, oh, you're so lucky to have each other. Even me, I'm looking at you guys, I'm like, oh guys, you guys, I'm so lucky to have each other, because I see the love and the respect and the rich history that you guys have together, and that's very unique. It's so beautiful to witness.
Well, thank you for saying that.
Means a
Yeah.
lot.
So I have a little boy, not a little boy, he used to be 3. It brought me back to the moment when I was hitting you, and I'm like, my little boy, whose name is Orion, like
It's a great name.
like you, and it goes, and now he's 22. But
Oh my goodness.
yeah, it's such a beautiful time. So soak it in, because I remember
fast.
it goes so fast,
Yeah.
and those little memories that you're seeding of the play and the fun and how he looks, little boys and their moms, it's just,
like
there's nothing else. Yeah. It's just the best. I have a daughter too, but it's a different dynamic, and she's fabulous. But it's a beautiful thing. So soak in every second.
Yes, I will. How do you introduce? Did you introduce crystals to your family? Obviously, they were involved, but what's their approach with crystals? Do you think they're more connected because of what you do?
Well, they don't really have a choice.
My daughter got a Reiki session the minute she was out. Like, they brought the baby in, they sat down, and I had my Reiki healer there. They're like, what's going on? Crystal layout, baby like 5 minutes old. But you know what? You're right. I think it's like my family would not know what it would be like to not start the morning with the mantras that they just hear.
And the incense.
It's just,
and the
there's a whole
sound.
thing that goes on. Yeah, I mean, it's 20. It doesn't. That's how it happens. But yeah, I think our kids are different. Not like everyone says that about their kids. I think my daughter has a gift of intuition that is far surpassing anything that I ever could want for myself. My son Orion has a grace and a beauty about him that's so sweet that. But there's a frequency.
Well, I think I
Will's
have 2
totally
boys.
into
My
it.
older son, we didn't play by the rules. Oh, you must go to college and do this.
Yeah.
They kind of had their own journey, and especially during the last 3 years, thankfully we gave them the ability to choose a journey, because school is not for everyone. Now they've gone back to it, but on their own terms. So he's like a vagabond. Like, he could be a van lifer, my older son. But he also...
Well, he's a Renaissance man.
He is a Renaissance man. And then my younger one is very empathetic. Like, he came out, he could be a natural counselor. He loves to be, he can feel. Now me, I didn't come out that way. And so when I see him and he talks to me, I'm like, you look in the mirror and you're like, this is why God gave me you. And he's opened up my heart, and I think sometimes these things have flourished and become even stronger because the crystals are around. They amplify energies, and so I think you can't avoid it. And I'm really grateful for that, because they are our little teachers too, our kids.
Yes.
Yeah, but with that being said, if you do have a lot of crystals in your house, you got to cleanse and purify your house, because crystal doesn't go, is it good or bad? A crystal is just going to amplify it all. So you want to make sure that you keep your space very pure.
How do you clear the space, and how do you clear the crystals? What's your method?
Okay, for time efficiency, because my life is all about time efficiency, I do believe clearing mantras or clearing singing bowls. Somebody on the on our live yesterday said, I clear my crystals by listening to Fleetwood Mac. And you know what? Everyone's got their song. For them, that might be where they resonate. Some people play Beethoven's Fifth. Some people, like me, I play Tibetan meditative whatever, or megahertz music. So that's a really fast way to clear energy. Obviously, you can bring in smudge with smoke. There's bells. You could take them outside under the moon and the sun. It doesn't have to be some big, huge deal.
Put them in a plant.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's intentional. But I definitely think houses that have a lot of crystals are better served when you keep them clear energetically.
That's good to know. I also have an infinity block. It's from Lila Quantum Tech. It's kind of like a block where it actually holds quantum energy. And sometimes I put my jewelry in it too.
How's that working?
It's awesome. I love it.
Because playing with quantum energy is, whoo, that's fast track to, like, I started playing with quantum energy. I had to tone that down because it's like, it fast tracks things. Have you found that to be true?
Well, I only had like major mystical experiences just a few times in my life. It's not like an everyday thing for me, but I think I had some quantum leaps in my life. And I do feel like, when you're in it, when you're in high vibration space, you feel like everybody else are like on the same plane as you are. I don't really know. What I know intuitively is that I am very different than the person I was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, a year ago. And we have two infinity blocks, and we charge them with one another, and they have a kilometer radius of, and it's backed by science of clearing a Wi-Fi signal. And
Is it on the right spectrum? Like, can you channel like different number sequences in there on that one?
do you want to see it? I have it here.
Yeah, I think I know what I'm talking. Because like
I'll show. I have one here. I'll be.
some of these, you could like change the programming on it, which is kind of cool.
Here it is.
Yeah, those are super cool. Do you put water or your minerals in there?
I sometimes I put my food in it,
Yeah, those are amazing.
and sometimes my smoothie, and sometimes my jewelry, and sometimes I'll put a photo of someone just to send healing.
Yeah, that's powerful.
And I have this thing, and it just feels like it needs some cleansing, so it's gonna go outside soon.
Yeah,
Smart.
or even under the block.
Yeah, inside the blocks, outside the block, and where I like what you said about intention. It's so true. Where do you see Energy Muse heading in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years? Where do you see yourself in partnership and in expanding the brand and in reaching more lives and helping them with your product?
We definitely are going to be doing more live interaction on different platforms. And what we're finding is we are starting to have more people, and maybe they're called not little, but other muses that might be in other
Mini muses.
or just other crystal muses that are in different states who can go live. And it's almost, people want to have, crystals look really good on camera. They don't, maybe the still of like on a website, you miss some of the beauty of a stone.
They come
and what they're
alive.
doing. They come alive.
Yeah.
So I definitely think for us it will be more interaction with with people that are the crystal leaders, people that are in our community, and having more interaction with more lives. And also just, we've been very lucky to be part of retreats that are more and more people are opening up to learning how they could use crystals to enhance meditation and things like that.
You have your own crystal retreats?
We had one in Kauai, and it's been, and I'll say it here, I'm looking for anyone who wants, I don't know if anyone here has access to the Brando. Have you guys seen Brando Island? I guess it was owned like, well, I don't know if it's in Tahiti. It's in Marlon Brando. It was his island. It's one of the most coolest eco places on planet Earth. And I would love to have us do a retreat there. It is, please go look at it.
Also, I highly recommend the Osa Peninsula in Costa Rica.
Well, that would be cool. Do you have any contacts there?
It's one of the most, I think it's the most biodiverse.
Is it on the Pacific side of Costa Rica?
I think it's in between the two sides, but I'm not very good with my geography. I just know that it's one of the places where it's almost like untouched, and it's very beautiful, and the wildlife there is, I mean, it's incredible. You just feel the earth. It feels fertile. I can't explain it. It's like one of the most magical places.
Well,
It's like-
and crystals like that. And
Yeah.
just people, I think, more and more are being open. How can I have crystals lay on my body? What do I do? How do I sit down for 11 minutes and surrounded by Mother Earth and reconnected? And just where we go into these places where that's how I learned. I had all these crystals. I was in Hawaii, and she's like, go into the volcano. And it just, you can go into different spheres of reality, which I think we're starting to see. I mean, there's multi-dimensions out there, and we're able to access them all in different vibrational frequencies. kind of a cool time to be alive because it's all opening up, you know?
What are your 3 top tips to living a stellar life?
Well, I would think always creating balance, because I think in this world you can get lost in the noise. So coming back down, doing whatever that is, if it's meditation or watching the sunset, you've got to create balance between work and your family life. For me, it's super important, and I think very important to Heather too. I would say play is a very key thing to remember to play. That's got to be definitely number one. And staying with a consistent practice that keeps you on track. Yeah. You've got to give that gift to yourself.
Yeah, having some kind of daily ritual practice and consistency, living from your heart, love more, and then serve more.
I love it. Love more, serve more. What about your books and your card deck? Can you share a little bit about those with our audience?
We would love to. We would love to. So, Crystal Muse is a book that Timmi and I wrote, and basically, basically it's 25 years of secrets. Ooh. So it's secrets from shamans and medicine people. I was working with this Native American medicine man, and he gave access to reprint a prayer that is normally not printed, and so it's a prayer to clear your house. Wow. Our teachings with Oponopono, with our Kahuna, just there's a lot of cool things, but basically it's a story of Timmi and I's story of our life, how I got pregnant. My mom lined my wedding dress with moonstone. I had no idea. She wanted to have she's like, I want to have a grandbaby, and so she's like, let me make your wedding dress, and line the whole thing with moonstone, which is a stone of fertility, and I did get pregnant, maybe lucky, on my wedding night. And then also my wedding ring at the time was, I think, designed by this wizard man in Laguna. And when he handed it to my husband, he said, be very careful because I made this under a full moon and it's very fertile. And so I guess it was, because I definitely got pregnant right away. Crystal 365 is a super cool book if you are interested in what is a crystal. This is what we wrote, books that we wanted to read that were not on the market. Like, tell me what a crystal does in like a paragraph, okay? Show me a visual picture of what it does if I don't want to read, okay? Give me a sentence so that I have a mantra, and then give me an actionable thing to do so that I can do something, so I can see. We're very results driven in the fact that if we're going to do something, please have it work,
But keep it simple.
Keep it simple. And is this going to do anything? Because there's 20 million other things I could be doing. Does that make sense? So, let's have it work. And then this is the card deck, which I'm very happy to say on Amazon has all these, lots
great
of reviews. And they're all 5-star, and I'm super happy. But basically, it's just colored pictures, and it's the same pretext. If I pick a card, recall your dreams, what do I do with that? Give me something actionable. Give me a mantra for the day. So it's like, here's what you can do today that'll help you with this. So everything is very, very, I think, spiritual and logical. So it helps both sides of your brain, because that's kind of how we think too.
Yeah, and there's a backup book, so you could look up and read more about lepidolite. So you can read it, and you'll know exactly what to do with it. Make it very simple.
Our whole gig has been about educating people, but in a way that it's approachable. Like, hey, you don't know about crystals, neither do we. This is where you start. How do you begin? It's really simple. It's easy. Don't get overwhelmed. It's not some big, it's just about feeling. That's it. I mean, at least for us, that's what it's about. Get connected. What do you like? Trust yourself. You're making the right answer. There's no right
answer.
Nobody. There's nobody saying no. You have to be on your journey. Go for it. Start today and start living that life that you love. And if anything, if you don't, whatever, it's a beautiful thing to look at. And why not have pretty things in your house or in your environment that make you smile?
Absolutely.
It's all win. There's nothing bad coming from it. You know what I mean?
Right. So where can people find your jewelry? Where can they find the books?
So everything's available on energymuse.com, and we have lots of great information on our Instagram and Facebook platforms. So it's just Energy Muse.
And TikTok now.
And TikTok. Yep.
Yeah.
And YouTube.
And YouTube.
And Pinterest.
Yeah, we're going to have a TikTok store very soon.
How do you have time to do all that?
Well, we're very blessed because we have a lot of great people around us, and we have a great team at Energy Muse. And if we didn't have the people around us that we do, we wouldn't be able to do anything. So it takes
Takes a village.
It takes good people. It takes a lot of intention, and we're very blessed and lucky to have the people that we have around us.
And it takes great leaders to run a great village.
Well,
so.
thanks. Sometimes we're great, and sometimes
We wonder.
sometimes we got some work to do, but we're trying.
Well, thank you both so much. So energymuse.com. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your hearts and your wisdom with us today. And thank you, listeners. Remember to create balance in your life. Play, have a consistent daily practice. Live from your heart, love more and give more, and have a stellar life. This is Orion. Till next time.